Okay, I'll explain again the exchange rate part. So basically your exchange rate is needed between any two things. So it can be, I can also get an exchange rate between an apple and an orange if I want. 2 apples is equal to 1 orange. That can be an exchange rate. This is what used to happen earlier, barter system. In a barter system, you used to exchange your apples with oranges, apples with wheat, rice with wheat, all of that used to happen. And then something came up called as money. So money became a mode of communication or mode of exchange of the products. Now similarly, you need exchange rate between two currencies. So I need an exchange rate between INR and US dollar. I need an exchange rate between US dollars and GBP. I need an exchange rate between GBP and euros. So you will keep needing this exchange rate. The reason we need them is we have export, import, global finance, global investment. All of this are there. So because of these reasons, I need exchange rates. And we started with something called as a nature of quotation. So in that we have understood exchange rate is the rate at which one currency is exchanged, bought and sold for another. Example is rupees 12 per apple is the exchange rate between apple and rupees. Here rupees is the price, apple is the product. I don't think anyone will have a doubt on this. Rupees is the price and apple is the product. That's what you have been used to listening. You have been used to listening saying that. You have been used to listening saying that rupees is the price and apple is the product. You just go to the market and say, ask what is the price of this product. That is what you have been used to. So whatever he will say, rupees 12 per apple. So rupees is the price, apple is the product. Next, rupees 65 per dollar is the exchange rate between dollar and rupees. Here rupees is the price, dollar is the product. Rupees is the price and dollar is the product. Then came direct quote and indirect quote. A direct quote is one where the home currency comes first and a foreign currency comes second. If the problem is silent, you will not need this categorization of direct quote and indirect quote. Later on you will understand why you don't need this categorization. But as such, if you have to understand what is direct quote and indirect quote, a direct quote is one where the home currency will come first, and an indirect quote is one where the foreign currency will come first. So a direct quote expresses the exchange rate as home currency per unit of foreign currency. Example, 65 per dollar is the direct quote. The important thing you see there is the direct quote in India. It is a direct quote in India. It's not a direct quote in USA. It can't be a direct quote in USA. Indirect quote expresses the exchange rate as foreign currency per unit of home currency. 65 per dollar is the indirect quote in USA. So when you go to USA and say rupees 65 per dollar, they'll understand, okay, he's talking about an indirect quote, not a direct quote. So direct quote, an exchange quote which is direct for India will become indirect for USA, which is direct for USA will become indirect for India. So in one country it is direct, in other country it is indirect. Any doubts till now? So that's the basic start we have done. Now somebody says the price of an apple is rupees 20 per apple. Then now if I have to convert this and I ask with 1 rupee, can you tell me how many apples I can buy? Rupees 20 per apple. With 1 rupee, how many apples can I buy? Rupees 20 per apple is the price. 1 by 20 or 0.05. So rupees 20 per apple can be converted as apple 1 by 20 per rupee. Rupees 20 per apple can be converted as apple 1 by 20 per rupee. Any doubts on this? Rupees 20 per apple can be converted as apple 1 by 20 per rupee. Rupees 65 per dollar can be converted as US dollar 1 by 65 per rupee. Rupees 65 per dollar can be converted as US dollar 1 by 65 per rupee. A direct quote and indirect quote is an inverse of each other. So indirect quote is equal to 1 by direct quote. So whenever you want to convert, you can convert an indirect quote into a direct quote. You just need to do an inverse of it. 1 by direct quote. Indirect quote is equal to 1 divided by direct quote. Clear? Any doubts on this? Anybody has any doubts on this? Next comes price and product. I've already explained what is price, what is product. To cut it short, whatever be the quote, it can be rupees 65 per USD or USD 0.013, whatever number per rupee. Whatever be the quote, whether be direct quote, indirect quote, I am least bothered. Whatever be the quote, the first currency is called as price, the second currency is called as product. First currency is called as price, the second currency is called as product. In case if you go to market and they keep telling apple 1/20 per rupee, apple 1/20 is the price. Apple 1/20 is the price, and the product which you are buying and selling is rupees. He is buying and selling rupees with the help of apple 1/20. So the basic thing is, in a quote, the first one is called as price, the second one is called as product. The first part is called as price and the second part is called as product. Clear? Any doubts on this? So it says in a direct quote, home currency is the price, foreign currency is the product. In an indirect quote, foreign currency is the price, home currency is the product. In either case, the first currency is the price and the second currency is the product. Whatever be the way in which I give you the quotation, the first currency is called as price, the second currency is called as product. This is what we have been used to. The first currency is called as price and the second currency will be called as product. Now I'll start with few problems. Okay. Now let's start with few problems. This is page 171, topic 43, basics of international finance. Topic 43, basics of international finance. Okay. A Mumbai banker has given the following quotes. Identify whether they are direct or indirect. For each direct quote, give the corresponding indirect quote and vice versa. A Mumbai banker has given the following quote. So it has been given in India. The quotes have been given in India. First, I have to identify whether they are direct quote or indirect quote. And after finding the direct or indirect, if it's direct, I want the indirect. If it's indirect, I want the direct. That's the requirement of the question. I'll take you through two quotes. Balance, you will quickly complete it. Rupees per Danish kroner. Rupees per Danish kroner is the quote. Is it a direct quote or indirect quote? Direct or indirect? Direct. So now write, you write three columns. Quote, quote, nature, other quote. Quote, nature and other quote. Quote, nature and other quote. Now the first quote is 8.8438. Now please listen, you will have to write it like this. Is how we write quotations. Rupees 8.8438 per DKR. In case you know the short form, you can use it. Otherwise, we'll write Danish kroner. We'll write the full name. If at all I know that. So for rupees, we write it as INR. For US dollar, we write USD. For pounds, we write it as GBP. For euros, we write it as EUR. So as I do, you'll know the short form. If you know the short form, you'll use the short form. Otherwise, you'll use the full form. So rupees 8.8438 per DKR. That's the quote. Rupees 8.8438 per DKR. 8.8438 per DKR. What's the nature of quote? Direct or indirect? Direct. direct quote, direct quote. Now there's no specified rule that how many decimals the quote will be. See, when I'm asking for a quotation of rupee per dollar, 65.12 per dollar will make sense. But if somebody gives me US dollar per rupee, if he gives me 2 decimal, it will become 0.01 or 0.02. The rounding of difference can make it 50 rupees per dollar, 100 rupees per dollar. So there's no set rule that how many decimals it should be. It will all depend on materiality of that quote. Because if it's some quotes will start like rupees 0.001. The quote itself will start like that. So in that case, you may have to do 7-8 decimals. So this now divide 1 divided by 8.8438. Point? It will not be 54. 1 divided by 8. 1131. Okay, I'll make it now. Please listen. DKR 0.1131 per INR. DKR 0.1131 per INR. DKR 0.1131 per INR. DKR 0.1131 per INR. What's the second quote given in the question? AUD 0.03038, no? Per INR. Direct, indirect for India? Indirect. You can convert and tell me a 2 decimal number. That will also be okay. Divide and tell me a 2 decimal number. INR 0.9. Clear? Like this you keep doing it, complete the balance part. rupees per dirham. This is direct, indirect? Direct. Rupees per rand is also direct, indirect, direct. I'm not discussing much. There's nothing much to discuss here. Direct, indirect. You will just do an inverse of it. You will get the other quote. Just doing an inverse of it, you will get the other quote. Clear? We proceed. Anybody has any doubts on this? Now spot the rate. Column 1 gives the nature of quote for the currency named in column 3 in the city named in column 4. Find the quote named in column 5 for the city named in column 6. This is the requirement. Let's first understand one question. One question, if you understand, balance parts will come clear. Column 1 gives the nature of quote for the currency named in column 3. So the first question, direct quote for GBP, direct quote for GBP in New York, direct quote for GBP in New York. Find the quote. I want the direct quote in London. The requirement is, what is given in the question is direct quote for GBP in New York, and what you need is a direct quote in London. Clear? Now write point number 1. Question number 2 in that part 1. Question number 2, part 1. The given quote is a direct quote. The given quote is a direct quote. Is a direct quote for GBP. Is a direct quote for GBP in New York. Is a direct quote for GBP in New York. Now please listen. It doesn't matter for which currency and all they're talking about. Hardly matters. If it's in New York, home currency will be the first currency for the New York, which is a direct quote. It's for which currency, it doesn't matter. Why they have given GBP in the question is, GBP is going to be one of the currency. What is the currency of New York? USD. So for that information only, that GBP is there in the question. Next point, the two currencies involved in the quote. The two currencies involved in the quote are USD and GBP. The two currencies involved in the quote are USD and GBP. Now I'm least bothered about what this for is, okay? This information I'm not bothered about itself. It doesn't matter whether the quote is for GBP, Euro. What matters is whether it's a direct quote or a indirect quote, and whether it is in New York or London. Where is the quote given? New York. What quote? Direct quote. Now tell me, is it USD 1.43 per GBP or GBP 1.43 per USD? USD 1.43 per GBP. Any doubts on this? It's a direct quote in USA. It's a direct quote in USA. USA's currency should come first. It's a direct quote in USA. So you should start with USA's currency. So write USD 1.43 per GBP. USD 1.43 per GBP is the given quote. Done? Any doubts on this? Clear? Can we now interpret the second part? Second part is a direct quote for Euro. For Euro doesn't make any sense to me, because that is only information for Euro helps me is that the two currencies involved can be known. Direct quote for Euro in Chennai. direct quote for euro in Chennai. So if it's a direct quote for euro in Chennai, what are the two currencies involved? INR and euro. Is it INR per euro or euro per INR? INR per euro. So now write the given quote is a direct quote. The given quote is a direct quote. Is a direct quote for euro in Chennai. Is a direct quote for euro in Chennai. Full stop. The two currencies involved are euro and INR. The two currencies involved are euro and INR. Full stop. It's a direct quote in Chennai. It's a direct quote in Chennai. It's a direct quote in Chennai. And hence the given quote is, what's the given quote? INR 67.57 per EUR, per euro. INR 67.57 per EUR. Can you tell me what is the indirect quote in Rome? What they need is indirect quote in Rome. Think again. It's the same quote. No, why are you changing the quote? I have told you a direct quote in India becomes an indirect quote in Rome. It's a direct quote in India. What they want is an indirect quote in Rome. The answer remains same. No. Why will you change it? Did I ask indirect quote in India? No. The question's requirement is what is the indirect quote in Rome? So when I have to do it for Rome and it's an indirect quote, what is the requirement? A direct quote in India becomes an indirect quote in Rome. So I need not change anything. I'm not going to do any inverse and all. I have told you a direct quote can be converted into indirect quote, but that is if they had asked me indirect quote in Chennai. They have not asked me indirect quote in Chennai. What they want is indirect quote in Rome, which is nothing but direct quote in Chennai. A direct quote in Chennai is an indirect quote in Rome. Clear? Any doubts in this? So you can finally write again the same answer will be the indirect quote in Rome. Rupees 67.57 per euro. Rupees 67.57 per euro will be the indirect quote in Rome. Any doubts on this? Okay, now please listen. Part 3, part 4 you can do. I'll just do one thing alone. Hong Kong's currency is HKD, Hong Kong dollar. As you do more and more problems, you will also be aware of, see, commonly used currencies you have to know, which you will get, which you will understand will be, one is US dollars, second is your GBP. All of this has to be known, that you will anyway get to know. Even we need to know what is the current exchange rate, because that will be used sometimes to interpret a problem. Sometimes finally to interpret whether it is rupees euro per GBP or GBP per euro, I may have to use the current exchange rate. Cairo's currency is Egyptian pound, EGP, Egyptian pound. You do this too now. Third and the fourth part. Interpret the quote. Indirect quote, column 1 gives the nature of the quote for the currency named in column 3. Indirect quote for pound in London. Interpret it. If we have good clarity on basics, other things will become simpler, but otherwise later on there will be a lot of struggle in this chapter. In case you need an explanation, let me know. New York? No, so New York, they will not give the currencies. So one currency is GBP. So how you get the two currencies is New York and London. What are the currencies in New York and London? The question did not give what was the currency for London part 1. So some knowledge needs to be known what currencies are there in which country. So for part 3, London and Hong Kong. London is pound, Hong Kong is Hong Kong dollar. These are the two currencies involved. This column 3 is an irrelevant column, to make it simple. Column 3 is an irrelevant column. It doesn't make any sense. It is not going to help you in any way. The only thing it helps you is, it makes it a little simpler by telling you, I am giving you one currency name. You find the second currency name on your own and then interpret it. Column 3 is of no use in this question. It's of no use in this question. So ignore column 3. Indirect quote in London. What is indirect quote in London? You understand it. Indirect quote in Auckland. What is indirect quote in Auckland? You understand it. So obviously you need to know what is the currency for Auckland, what is the currency for Cairo. One currency they are helping you out, second currency you have to do on your own. What's the given quote for the third one? What is overall? Is it pound per HKD or HKD per pound? HKD per pound. It's an indirect quote in London. Indirect quote in London. London's home currency is GBP. London's home currency is GBP. Sorry. Yeah, indirect quote in London. So when it's an indirect quote in London, it technically becomes a direct quote in Hong Kong. Technically it becomes a direct quote in Hong Kong. No, just a minute. Direct quote in Chennai. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I got confused. So what is the quote given quote in the question? HKD 11.08 per GBP. HKD 11.08 per GBP. The other quote is indirect quote in Hong Kong. For an indirect quote in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong currency will come as the second currency. For an indirect quote in Hong Kong, what is going to be the second currency is Hong Kong dollar. You are able to understand this. A direct quote means home currency will be first, and indirect quote means foreign currency will be first. That's the clear interpretation. A direct quote, you start with home currency. Indirect quote, you start with foreign currency. So indirect quote in London, indirect quote in London is HKD 11.08 per GBP. Indirect quote in Hong Kong is going to be GBP how much? 0.4 decimal 0903 per HKD. 0.0903 per HKD. The last quote, indirect quote in Auckland. I am making it very clear. I don't want to know what is this currency itself. That currency is just helping us to find out the two pairs of currencies. Indirect quote in Auckland. What is the currency of Auckland? New Zealand dollar. Auckland is basically New Zealand. So New Zealand dollar, and the other currency was EGP. The other currency was EGP. What is the given quote? EGP per NSZ or NSZ per EGP? EGP per NSZ. EGP per NZD, EGP per NZD. I'm again telling you, this will become later on a very complicated stuff to identify whether it is rupee per dollar or dollar per rupee. Rupee dollar you will not struggle because you know the codes. If it is 65, you will indirectly say rupee per dollar. If it's 0.02 something, you will say dollar per rupee. But you will keep seeing these issues later on. What is direct, what is indirect? To cut it short, in a direct quote, home currency will come first. In an indirect quote, foreign currency will come first. So it's an indirect quote in New Zealand. For New Zealand, the foreign currency in this question is EGP. So it's EGP 3.2051 per NZ. Direct quote for Cairo remains same. Direct quote for Cairo remains same. Clear? Any doubts on this? Okay. Now, internationally how quotes are given is given. This is not critical from a problem solving point of view. This is more for your understanding. Now, an exchange rate which is in direct mode in USA, that is any direct quote in USA is technically called as, the quote is in American terms. The quote is in American terms. Any direct quote in USA, the term is called as American term. Any indirect quote in USA, the term is called as European term. So USD per GBP, USD per INR is called as American term quote, and the other one is called as European quote, European term quote. Clear? Any quote which is in direct mode in USA, is technically called as an American term quote. Any quote which is an indirect mode in USA is technically called as European quote. Now another important thing is, internationally all quotes are normally given with reference to US dollars. You go to UAE and ask what is the exchange rate, they'll say whatever is their currency per US dollar. They'll talk it as per US dollar. They are not going to make it as per INR and give it to you. They are not going to make it as per INR and give it to you. Internationally, all exchange rates are normally given with reference to US dollar. And what happens internationally is, every quote is going to be in European term. Every quote is going to be only in European term. Internationally, wherever you go to Japan and ask what is the quote, they'll give you per US dollar only. They are not going to give you per INR. If you want to convert into per INR, that's what we are going to learn. How do we convert? That's technically called as cross rates. So that conversion part is what we are going to learn here. So how do I convert? Because internationally all quotes will be given with reference to only US dollar. So you go to Japan and ask the quote, they'll give you a quote with reference to US dollar, and it will be in European term. European term means indirect quote for which country? USA. So any country you go, you get a quote like this only. Rupees per US dollar. This is India. Japan is yen per US dollar. This if you go to Japan. You go to Japan, they'll say Japan is yen per US dollar. You go to any European country, they'll say euro per USD. You go to Singapore, they'll say Singapore dollar per USD, except for one currency, which is GBP. GBP alone, it will not be like this. GBP quotes internationally will be like this. This currency alone is an exception. USD per GBP. So internationally, all quotes, international quotes except pound are expressed in European terms. That is indirect mode in USA. So if somebody tells me the exchange rate between INR, can I just tell the vehicle number? P2 907. Anyone's vehicle? Not here. Now if I go to a normal bank and ask what is the quote between INR and USD, he is not going to make it simple and say, okay, rupees 65 per dollar. You tell him, he'll say 65, that's all. That's how practical discussion will happen. So you go to any country and ask for a quote. What is the exchange rate? They'll say, you go to Japan, they'll say exchange rate is 12. Now what is 12? If the problem is silent, you'll have to interpret it as JPY 12 per USD. JPY 12 per USD. You go to London and ask for the exchange rate, they'll say 1.2. If they say 1.2, there alone the exception is. London is GBP. London is GBP. So there alone the exception will come into picture. Clear? Able to understand this? So internationally, your all quotes are normally given with reference to USA. All the quotes are given with reference to USA. And now when they give with reference to USA, it's always in European term. What is European term is? Indirect mode for USA. From problem solving point of view, I may not use it. I may not use this understanding. Maybe in one question, rarely it may come into picture. But for your understanding, it's always indirect quote in USA. It's an indirect quote in USA. So people are used to hearing rupees per dollar, JPY per dollar, or Euro per dollar, Singapore dollar per dollar. That is what you are used to. Egyptian pound per dollar, New Zealand dollar per dollar. Everyone is used to hearing per USD. Except for one currency, the exception is GBP, Great Britain pound. That alone is an exception. For GBP, it's going to work as USD per GBP. Clear? Any doubts in this? No, that is direct. No, so see, a direct quote, indirect quote. Now again, I'm making it clear. When I solve a problem, I'll not even ask you whether it's a direct quote or an indirect quote. It hardly matters from a problem solving point of view. The only thing is, because you will say direct quote, suddenly somebody from USA will say it's an indirect quote. So let's not get into that analysis of direct and indirect. But why I want you to know direct and indirect quote, at least that base understanding should be there. Because somebody talks to you about exchange rates, they will keep talking about this direct quote, or suddenly the problem may say direct quote in India is. Now the moment the direct quote in India is says, you need to know that it's rupees per dollar. For that purpose only I have explained direct quote and indirect quote. It hardly matters. So if they say, see, there are different ways of giving a question. I can give the question as saying that the exchange rate between USA and GBP is 1.2. Just this alone I tell. Now if you have to interpret, you interpret by the normal rules which I have told you. The normal rule says all quotes except pound are going to be indirect mode in USA. So if they say between USD and GBP, your interpretation is USD per GBP. So if they say it's between USD and GBP, you will interpret it as USD 1.2 per GBP. If they say the quote is between INR and USD 65, you will understand it as rupees 65 per USD. So it's very clear. So that is only for that purpose I have told you what is direct, what is indirect. Clear? Any doubts on this? Okay. Now I go to the market to buy apples. You ask the price, the person will say the price is rupees 100 per kg of apple, or let it be rupees 100. He just says rupees 100. I'll make it as rupees 100 per apple. Okay, this is the quote he gives. Now, can you get this rupees 100 is technically called as the selling price of the apple. Can you know what is the purchase price of the apple when you buy from a shop? Can we get to know what is the purchase price of the apple? No, we cannot get to know. But in currencies, you'll also know the purchase price, you'll also know the selling price, what profit the bank is making. So you go to the bank and ask what is the exchange rate, he'll give it like this. Rupees 64-65.5 per USD. Rupees 64-65.5 per USD. If the supermarket wants, he can also give the purchase price of an apple, but he will not tell it to us. But he will have a purchase price. He is going to buy it from someone. So rupees 64-65.5 means bank will buy at 64 and buy, and bank will sell at 65.5. In the process, they will make a profit of 1.5. In the process, they are going to make a profit of 1.5. So they are going to tell you at what price they are buying. They will also tell you at what price they are selling. Both will be told to you. Why they are telling it to you? Because that is how the quotes are given in the market. So because I will not go to a supermarket and tell him that can you buy apples from me. That's not going to happen. But you will go to the bank and say buy dollars from me, sell dollars to me. Both are going to happen because you may buy dollars, you may also sell dollars. So in that case, bank will say the quote is 64-65.5. Any doubts till now? Now the 64 is called as buy, technically called as bid rate. Technically called as bid rate. Bid rate refers to the rate at which bank buys the currency. Bid rate refers to the rate at which bank buys the currency. I'm not telling bank buys the foreign currency, home currency. I'm not bothered about all of that. It only means the rate at which the bank buys the currency. This is technically called as ask rate or offer rate. Ask rate or offer rate. Ask rate refers to the rate at which the bank sells the currency. Ask rate refers to the rate at which bank sells the currency. So bid rate refers to the rate at which the bank buys the currency. Ask rate refers to the rate at which bank sells the currency. Difference is called as spread. So in this case, the spread is 1.5. Spread is 1.5. Technically the profit. Technically the profit is 1.5. Any doubts on bid rate and ask rate? Now, an average of bid rate and ask rate is called as middle rate. Average of bid rate and ask rate is called as middle rate. Where is middle rate used is? It is used for statistical purposes. When I say statistical purposes, to give the past history of exchange rate, they will prefer to give the middle rates. Also, when any company wants to report their financial statements, all your foreign currency exposure have to be converted into home currency. Your accounting standards talks about it, Ind AS will talk about it. So when I do the conversion, certain conversion will happen at average rate, certain conversion will happen at closing rate, certain conversion will happen at opening rate. For all that purpose also middle rates can be used. So middle rates are basically used for all this. For transactional purpose, middle rates will not be used. Any transaction you have to do, nowhere the middle rate is going to come into picture. Clear? Any doubts on this? So I have a bid rate, I have a ask rate, I have a middle rate, I have a spread. Clear? Any doubts on this? The question, yeah.
Convert your currencies on this. So if this information is going to be very transparent, then obviously people will go only to wherever they get the spread, that's very
obviously markets give that. So you try to find, so the point is, in a market the quote will be like this. Bank A will say rupees 64-65.5, 1.5 rupees profit. The second bank will say rupees 64.5 66.5, 2 rupee profit. Another bank may give it as rupees 63-65.25, 63-65.25, 2 rupees 25 paise profit. But still I'll go to the bank 3 because I'll buy at a lower rate. If I am buying bank, so if bank is going to buy at the first rate and bank is going to sell, so if I want, bank is going to sell US dollar and I want to buy US dollar, I'm okay paying a 2 rupee 25 paise margin because there I get it at 65.25. Other banks it is 65.5. So all of this you'll learn later on. So as of now I don't want to get into this, but yeah, this is an information which is transparent. It will be given to you. They will give you this information. Clearly it will be given what is the bid rate, what is the ask rate. It's your wish, and margin will also be given to you. Now, the spread which we calculate, we were saying it's 1.5. Sometimes there are spread in percentage form. Spread in percentage. Spread in percentage. What is the formula for net profit ratio? Net profit by sales. So net profit is spread in rupees. By sales is your offer rate. Sales is your offer rate. So if they want in percentage, it will be spread in rupees divided by 65.5. You will have to divide it by 65.5 if at all they ask in percentages. Whenever they ask in percentages, your denominator is going to be sales. Denominator is going to be sales. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now, go through this. Clear? Can you proceed? Now, how practically quotes are given, we are going to discuss on that. Okay. Okay, now please listen. This is important from problem solving point of view also. The quote is like this: rupees 65.25 hyphen 65.75. What is the bid rate here? Ask rate? Clear? Any doubts on this? Now, the number after the decimals is called as PIP. PIP is technically called as PIPs, the number after the decimals. Now, if the number before the decimal is same, the question will not give it as 65.25, they will give it as 65.25 hyphen 75. 65.25 hyphen 75. They will not make it as 65.25 hyphen 65.75. They will give it as 65.25 hyphen 75. Now this has to be interpreted as 65.25 hyphen 65.75. If it was 75 as it is, then they will give it as 75.00. If it was 75 rupees, they would have given it as 75.00. Clear? Any doubts on the 65.25 slash 65.75 will be given as 65.25 hyphen 75. Now if it was 65.65, no, just a minute. Let's take it as 65.80 hyphen 70. 65.80 hyphen 70. How will you interpret this as? 65.80. 65 point. Will bank be reporting losses? You are saying a lower rate. 65.80 hyphen 65.70. In any case, your offer rate can't be lower than your bid rate. So it will remain as 70.00. It will become 70.00. In any case, your offer rate can't be lower than bid rate. So when you do this conversion, keep this in mind. Your offer rate can't be, if I am setting a paper, I'll purposely keep it as 65.80 hyphen 70. I'll not make it as 70.00. Why should I make it as 70.00? You should understand it properly, stating that your offer rate can't be lower than your bid rate. Your offer rate in no ways can be lower than your bid rate. That understanding should be very, very clear to you. Clear? Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Now I'm taking it further. 12.315. I don't know which currency and all. Let's see. Yeah.
Saying offer rate can never be lower than bid rate, which is very logical. But in some cases, leave India, then maybe some other country, is it possible?
No.
But what if a country has foreign currency crunch, and they want their foreign currency to?
So the exchange rate will come down. So assume India has a crunch of USD. So rupees 64 hyphen 64.5 will fall down to, or will go up to, in India it will go up to 68 hyphen 68.5. Both will go up, no, bid rate as well as the ask rate. Both are going to go up or both are going to come down. So the crunch is from a government point of view. So bank is one of the intermediary. So if there is a huge demand for dollars, the price of the dollar will go up. If there is a huge shortfall of dollars, if there is a huge supply of dollars, the price of the dollar will come down. When I say price, both bid rate and ask rate has to come down. Both bid rate and ask rate has to go up. So both have to go up, both have to come down. I agree to your point, whether it can come down. Yes. Technically, can I report loss? Yes, I can report loss. If I buy from you and keep quiet and sell the next day, obviously I can report loss in the interim period if the currency moves down significantly. So that and all can happen. So what normally banks also do is they don't keep any exposure unhedged. The moment they buy it from you, they'll also sell it to someone else. The moment they sell to someone, they'll buy it from someone. So they'll keep doing this so that they make riskless profits. Now 12.315 hyphen 40. 12.315 hyphen 40. Now how will we interpret this is 12.315 hyphen 400. That's what 12 point, what do you want me to do? 400. Now please listen. In the pips portion, also if the number is same, they are not going to give that number. So this is 12.340, last two decimal of the pip. This is last two decimal of the pip. If the number in the pips portion is also same, that will also not come in the quote. So 12.315 hyphen 12.340 will be written as hyphen 40, that's all. If the pips portion is also same, that is also not going to come in. So pips can have 6 digits. If in the 6 digit, first 4 digits are same, that will not come in the quote. That is not going to come in the quote. So I am making it very clear. One, in a two-way quote, your bid precedes the ask. In no case your ask rate can be lower than bid rate. If the question gives it 65.80 hyphen 66.25, happy, great, they have given it to me directly, I am happy about it. But if they don't do all of this and they make it different for me, saying that 65.80/90, then I will have to use those rules of, see, if the first quote is 65.80, I want the second quote to be 2 digits, 0.2 digits. I need that 2 digits, decimal another 2 digits. If you give me that, I am okay with it. Otherwise, this pips analysis may come into picture. Clear? Any doubts on this? So 12.315/40 is 12.315/12.340. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? In a two-way quote, bid precedes ask. 62.50 hyphen 62.80 means that the bank is buying dollar at 62.5, bank is selling dollar at 62.80. The numbers after the decimals are referred to as pips. If the numbers before the decimal in pip and ask is identical, then while quoting the ask portion, only the pip is quoted. 67.80/61.90 will be written as 67.80/90. You need not note down anything. If at all you want to make some running notes, you make it, but everything is there in the theory part. So whatever I am going to discuss, everything will be there. Wherever some notes are to be made, I myself will tell you that you have to make notes. 12.315/70 will be interpreted as 12.315/12.370. Even if the numbers in the pip are same, I am now going to quote that. Clear? Any doubts on this?
12.315 to 12.70. How will I give it like this?
12.700. Then I will give 12.315/700. I have to give 700. If they give 70, then I will understand it as 370 only. If so, now assume a quote is like this: 12.315/12.700. If our, just a minute, it's only 12.7. 12.315/12.7. If I have to give it as in the way we have understood, then they'll give it like this: 12.315/700. I need it as 700. You cannot just give me 7. If you give it to me only 7, I'll interpret that to be the third decimal. I'll interpret it as 12.315/12.317. I'll interpret it as 12.315/12.317. So I think you can, okay, note down this example: 12.315/7, 12.315-7, 12.315-7. The interpretation of this is 12.315/12.317. The interpretation of this is 12.315/12.317.
So when you just give one digit, it's the
last digit.
Two digits there.
Last two digits.
So it comes from right.
So I'm just continuing now, listen. 12.315/70 will be interpreted as 12.315/12.370. 12.315-70 will be interpreted as 12.315/12.370. The last one is sorry 700 is this will make it very clear to you. This is how you have to do your interpretation. 12.315/7 is 12.315/12.317. 70 means 370. 700 means 700 is the three numbers. If it's 13, then they'll have to directly give, that's all. If it's 12-13, they'll have to give 13 in the question. There's nothing which you can do. So if the numbers before the decimal is same, then I may give the quotes in form of pip. If the pips are also same, then I'll make it a little more complicated and give you only 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digit, whatever I wish to. Clear? Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Now let's do problems on this. What are the page number of the handout? Page. Okay, let's come to 171. I'll take you through one of the quote. You will then do the second one. The following are direct quote. The following are direct quote. Rupees per GBP, USD per GBP. They have given that. They have asked us to calculate all of that. So we'll try to do all of that now. Now, they have just said it is direct quote. They have not mentioned whether it is in India or USA. That we will try to understand in the first part of the question. That's where the first part of the question is given. Particulars in 2 columns, quote 1 and quote 2. I'll help you with the quote 1, you will do the quote 2. Particulars, the question has given 2 problems. Particulars, quote 1, quote 2. I'll take you through the first quote, second quote you will do it. First write given quote. What is the given quote? Rupees? No, so number, value. 82.20-70. Let me interpret it and write the full number. 82.70 per GBP. This is what is given. Rupees 82.20-82.70 per GBP. The given quote in the question is 82.20-82.70. Okay, what is the first question asking us to do there? Country where quote is made. This is a direct quote is what the question said. Where will this be a direct quote? In which country? India. So write India. Country where quote is made is India. They have also asked for the indirect quote in India. They have also asked for the indirect quote in India. Listen for some time. They have asked identify the indirect quote in that country. Now the given quote is 82.20-82.70. This is what is given in the question. Now I have told you to make it indirect, what you do? Inverse. Listen for some time, I'll tell you when to note it down. I made the inverse now. I've done the inverse. Now, after doing the inverse, the issue which I face is, this is higher than this rate. 0.01217 is higher than 0.01209. Technically, it has become higher. Any doubts till now? I have done the inverse of it. I have told you how you convert a direct into an indirect. You just do an inverse of it. The problem which I have in hand now is, when I do the inverse of it, what has happened is, technically the inverse of bid rate is higher than the inverse of offer rate. So what they say is, wherever you have to do conversion, bid A by B. When I say A by B, INR per USD or USD per INR, one of the currency, is equal to 1 by ask B by A. 1 by ask B by A. This is there in the theory part. I thought this will come later on, but in this problem I have to do this. So the basic thing is, when you have to do your conversion of direct into indirect, if you want the indirect quote for bid, you have to use it as 1 by direct offer rate. 1 by direct offer rate. The logic for that is explained here. Why I have to do this is, otherwise your bid rate will become higher than ask rate. No bank is going to give that. So if I want bid rate, ask rate, listen for some time, rupees per USD. Rupees per USD or GBP, what is it? Okay, rupees per GBP. This is what is given in the question, 82.20 and 82.7. You want it as GBP per USD, then you have, sorry, GBP per INR. What you have to do is 1 divided by 82.7. 1 divided by 82.7. To get the bid rate, you have to do the inverse of the offer rate. To get the bid rate, you have to do the inverse of the offer rate. Similarly, now bid rate is lower than offer rate. Now the bid rate is lower than offer rate. This is the logic, and this is what you have to do also. This is what we have to do. So in this case, bid rupee per GBP. Bid rupee per GBP is equal to 1 by ask GBP per rupee. So bid rupee per GBP 82.2 is equal to 1 by ask, 1 by 0.01217. A by B is just two currencies. I have just given two names to it. It's technically two currencies. To cut it short, if you want the rate, for, whenever you have to convert direct into indirect, whenever conversion is happening, you have to use bid rate to get the ask rate to get the bid rate. You have to use bid rate to get the ask rate and ask rate to get the bid rate. If I have understood this, that's more than enough. Everything is covered in the theory part. If understanding is clear, we use it in this question. Any doubts on this? So, now the question's requirement is indirect quote in India. Now please listen. Rupees 82.20 slash 82.70, I'll have to convert it as GBP 1 by 82.70 hyphen 1 by 82.20 per rupee. You will not write it as 1 by 82.70, you will write the proper number. 5 decimals, 5-6 decimals you will have to do and write it. Any doubts on this? I cannot use the bid rate and get the other bid rate. I cannot use the ask rate and get the other ask rate. This is very, very critical. You may end up doing in all the problems on international finance this adjustment. This conversion of bid into ask. When you do the conversion of bid into ask, when you convert a direct quote into indirect quote, it is inverse. That is perfectly fine. But only one adjustment, and the critical adjustment is, if you are trying to get the ask rate, you will have to use the 1 by bid rate. If you are trying to get the bid rate, you will have to use 1 by ask rate. Any doubts on this?
So this will be using in all the adjustment even when our ask rate is more than the bid rate?
Even when our?
If we have in some particular scenario our ask rate is more than the bid rate.
Always it will be ask rate more than bid only.
No, after in indirect.
No, max will not allow you to do, no. 1 by 82, you are dividing by a lower number and a higher number. So this is math, there's nothing else, no. So it's 40, let me make it as 40, 60. 1 by 40 is obviously going to be higher than 1 by 60. So it's from that point of view. The reason why it is coming this way is you are dividing by a lower number and a higher number. You can write it as 4-5 decimals number. GBP 1 by 82.70 and 1 by 82.20. It will be GBP 0.012, sorry, 09 0.012 0.01209 hyphen 0.01217 09. It doesn't end here. It doesn't end here. Any doubts till now? Now, if at all I have to write this quote, I'll have to write it properly, which is GBP. From most of the problem point of view, it's okay, but this is more for your understanding. You better do it like this itself. 0.01209 hyphen 17. Why hyphen 17? Your pips portion 0, 1, 2 is same. The pips portion 0, 1, 2 is same. What changes is the last 2 decimals of the pip, are the last 2 digits of the pip. So 0.01209 hyphen 17 per INR. This is what they will give. In an exam scenario, the quote will be given like this. GBP 0.01209 hyphen 17. Clear? That's for the next problem. USD per GBP. So you will do that in some time. There are 2 questions there. Next, bid rate, ask rate, spread in amount and middle rate. Bid, ask, spread in amount, spread in percentage and middle rate. This is easy. Tell me quickly now. Bid rate 82.20. Whatever is given quote. I am not going to do it in the indirect mode and all. Bid rate 82.20. Ask rate 82.70. Spread in rupees or spread in value. Let it be value because next problem it will not be rupees, it will be USD there. Spread in value. In terms of value, okay, one more thing, sorry, I forgot. You will have to keep writing the currencies here, very critical. Rupees 82.20, rupees 82.70. Whatever is the first one, rupees 82.20, rupees 82.70. Spread in value is rupees 0.50. 0.50. Spread in percentage, spread in percentage, you divide by what? 82.70 into 100 to get it in percentage. 0. How much percentage? 6. 0.60 percentage. 0.5 divided by 82.7. 0.5 divided by 82.7. 0.5 by 82.7. 8th one is middle rate. What is the middle rate? Which is 82.45. 82.20 plus 82.70 by 2. 82.20 plus 82.70 divided by 2, 82.45. Clear? Now the next part is, okay. Now let's try to understand this. This understanding will become critical when I go to the cross rate. The currency bought by the bank in case of bid and in case of ask. Bid rate is rupees 82.20 per GBP, rupees 82.20 per GBP. In this quotation, what currency the bank is going to buy and what currency the bank is going to sell. Think about it and let me know. 82.20 refers to the rate at which something I have told you. Now in this quote, will the bank, what currency the bank is going to buy? See, the basic thing is, if bank is buying, no, so let me just complete. If bank is buying US dollar, it means it is selling INR. If it's buying US dollar, it means it is selling INR. If it's buying INR, it means it is selling USD. So something of that sort. Now rupees 82.20 per GBP, which currency the bank is going to buy? GBP. 82.20 refers to the rate at which the bank buys the GBP, and 82.70 refers to the rate at which the sells the GBP. So now please listen. 82.20 bank buy GBP. 82.70 bank sell GBP, which means bank buy INR, which means bank is buying INR. Technically bank buys one currency. So when you go to the market, you are buying apples and the shopkeeper is buying rupees from you. The shopkeeper is buying rupees from you by giving apples. He is buying rupees from you by giving apples, and you are buying apples by giving rupees. So 82.20 bank is going to buy GBP. 82.70 bank is going to buy INR. 82.20 bank is going to buy GBP. Currency bought by the bank in case of bid and in case of ask. So in case of bid rate, bank is going to buy GBP. In case of ask rate, bank is going to sell GBP, which means bank is going to buy INR. Clear? Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Next, currency bought by bank. Currency bought by bank, bid, ask, bid rate and ask rate. In case of bid, bank is going to buy GBP. Bank is going to buy GBP. In case of ask, bank is going to sell GBP, which means they are going to buy INR. Any doubts on this? The last part says currency bought by you. Bought by you means as customers, what are we buying? So next, currency bought by us in case of bid rate, bank buys GBP and sells INR. Bank buys GBP and sells INR. What we are doing is we are selling GBP and buying INR. So it's going to be inverse of this. So this is going to be INR GBP. We are going to sell GBP and buy INR from the bank. What comes in is the currency which you are buying. So technically what this says is you can also buy something like INR. So in a practical world, we wouldn't have interpreted it like this. When I am buying apples, the shopkeeper is also buying rupees from us. So that is the interpretation. And the exchange rate between apple and rupees will keep changing on different days. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now do the next part. Code 2. The given quote is 5606-950, which will be interpreted as 1.5950. It's made in USA. The indirect quote is written 0.626959 slash, it was 640, so I have removed 6 and written it as 40779. I have removed 6 and made it as 40779. Bid rate, ask rate, spread in value, spread in percentage, and middle rates are captured. In case of bid rate, the bank is going to buy GBP. In case of ask rate, the bank is going to sell GBP and buy USD. Sell GBP and buy USD. For the customer, it's going to be the inverse of this. See, in an exam scenario or even in problems, if INR is not there in the question, you will start struggling. Because rupees per INR, rupees per USD, rupees per GBP is easy to understand. But the quote is USD per GBP, the issues will start happening. Whether it's bid rate, ask rate, whether I'm buying USD, I'm selling GBP, all of that confusion will start coming into picture. So for that, if you are aware of your general rules, you will be in a position to apply it easily. So be clear on the general rules so that it's easier for you to apply. Can you proceed? Any doubts on this? Clear? Okay, I'll move to the next concept. Any doubts in the earlier question? Anybody has a doubt? Clear? Can we? Any doubts? Okay, now comes the cross rates. What is cross rate? Technical definition is a cross rate is one where you don't have US dollars. A cross rate refers to a quote where USD is not there. But from problem solving point of view, whether USD is there, not there, it doesn't make any difference. Now, how cross rates are going to be used is, I'll give you a quotation between rupee per dollar. I'll give you a quotation called as rupee per euro. With this two quotation, you can also find euro per dollar. Rupee per dollar is there, rupee per euro is there. If I tell you rupee per dollar, rupee per euro is there, and find euro per dollar or dollar per euro, you can use this and find. That is what cross rates are all about. Now, how you do cross rates is with the help of cross multiplication. With the help of cross multiplication. First, let's be clear on this. Bid A by B is equal to 1 by ask, B by A. Ask A by B is equal to 1 by bid, B by A. Other two I am going to explain with an example. Just a minute. Okay. Now let's take an example. Rupees 65-66 per US dollar. 65-66 per US dollar. Rupees 80-81 per GBP. Rupees 80-81 per GBP. Now the question suddenly asks you saying that get me USD per GBP. Get the quote of USD per GBP. Whenever the question gives you this, first I'll have to expand the quote. It's normal math. We are going to now expand the quote. Now USD by GBP is equal to, there will be a connecting currency given in the question. In this case, the connecting currency is rupees. It is common for both the quotes. So I am going to split it as USD per rupee into rupee per GBP. Rupee and rupee will get cancelled. Rupee and rupee will get cancelled. You will get USD per GBP. Any doubts on this? Very critical. This is a starting point. USD per GBP can be split as USD per rupee. Some question it will become USD per rupee into rupee per Singapore dollar into Singapore dollar per euro into euro per GBP. Finally, only you will get your GBP. So you may have to go through multiple currencies. So the basic thing is you will have to split the quote. So when you have to split the quote, what you do is you find what is the connecting currency. The normal thing is A by B is equal to A by C into C by B. A by B is equal to A by C into C by D into D by E into E by B. It can be anyways. It can be anyways. The basic requirement is I'll have to split the quote. Clear? Any doubts in this? Now after splitting the quote, then I'll write bid USD per GBP is equal to bid USD per rupee into, you want bid, attach a bid to everything. You want to ask, attach ask. Is the given quote USD per rupee? Whatever, I have two examples I have given. Is the quote USD per rupee or rupee per USD? Rupee per USD. I cannot use it. I'll have to convert this as 1 by ask. I'll have to make it as 1 by ask rupee per USD. Able to understand this? Bid USD per rupee is not there in the question. So I'll have to use it as 1 by ask rupee per USD. Any doubts in this? This is what you did in the last problem. This is what we have done in the last problem. So 1 by ask. What is 1 by ask? 1 by 66. 1 by ask is 66. Do you have rupee per GBP in the question? Yes. So then give me the value. Can you tell me what is this number? 1 by 66 into 80. 1.4 decimals. 2121 per GBP. This is the bid rate. USD 1.2121 per GBP. USD 1.2121 per GBP. Now then ask USD per GBP is equal to, again split USD per rupee into rupee per GBP. Ask. In the example, USD per rupee is not there. I have rupee per USD. So I'll make it as 1 by bid. 1 by bid. 1 by 65. 65/66 is the rate. So you don't have ask USD. This is ask. I don't have the ask. I don't see. If the quote is in the order in which you want, great. If it's not there, you will have to make, if you want bid rate, you will have to do inverse of ask rate. If you want ask rate, you will have to do inverse of bid rate. So 1 by 65 into what rate? Into 81. And this will give you the quote. Clear? Any doubts in this? So this is what is all about. If you have understood till this, according to me, 30-40% of international finance is over. This adjustment, what I'm talking about, cross rates, people still make mistakes. People still find it difficult to understand whether the difficulties you will face in international finance is whether to divide or multiply. First difficulty you will face is whether I have to divide this rate or multiply. The second difficulty you will face is whether to use bid rate or ask rate. Whether to use 65 or 66. So whether it is 65 divided by 80, 65 into 80, 66 divided by 80, 66 into 80, 80 by 66, 81 by 55. All this confusion will keep coming in the international finance. The confusion which is going to come is only this. If you are clear on this, entire problems I am going to discuss, more or less this adjustment will keep coming at all the problems. It will keep coming in all the question. Bid A by B is equal to 1 by ask B by A. Bid A by C is equal to A by B into B by C. You will keep doing this adjustment. Clear? Now, this is what is explained there. 3 rules of cross multiplication. Bid A by C is equal to bid A by B into bid B by C. I wouldn't want you to remember any formula. I'm making it very clear. There's no formula and all being given there. It's only pure logic. You have to apply the logic. Logic says A by B is equal to mathematically A by C into C by B. This is what your maths have taught you. A by C into C by B. Now, if you want bid rate, prefix it with bid in the formula. If you want ask rate, prefix it with ask. If the question has given the quote, great. If the question has not given the quote, do the inverse of it. If the question gives you, great. If it doesn't give you, do the inverse of it. Clear? Any doubts on this? Any doubts? Can we proceed? Clear? Question number 4. Consider the following quotes and derive the cross rates. Now, though by definition I have told you cross rate means USD is not there. Let's ignore all of that. The basic thing is a cross rate is a process by which 2 quotes are combined together to get the third quote. 2 quotes are combined to get together the third quote. Question number 1, 2, 3 doesn't have bid and ask confusion, so it will be easier for you to do. Question 4 is where bid and ask will come into picture. Now, first one, USD per GBP is the required quote. Now, write USD per GBP is equal to USD per GBP is equal to USD per GBP is equal to. Can you split the formula first? What is the connecting currency? So, tell me the split of the formula. USD by INR into INR by. If you can understand splitting properly, it's easy to get to the answer. USD by INR into INR by GBP. Now look at, do you have USD by INR? No. Inverse. 1 by 52.70. 1 by 52.70. Do you have INR per GBP? Yes. Use it directly. No bid, no ask confusion, so let's not worry about that. Whatever answer you get, you can note down the answer, that's all. What's the answer you have got? 1.550. Now please listen, be very careful. Your answer will not be like this. You will have to exactly write this. USD. If I are not writing this, if I am correcting your paper, I'll at least deduct 1 mark for this. If you leave it as 1.5505, the answer is USD 1.5505 per GBP. USD 1.5505 per GBP. This is what will make sense to me. You just give it as 1.5505, again next stage of confusion for me. Or you have to at least write USD per GBP is equal to 1.5505. Either best way of writing quote is this. This is the best way of writing a quote, because this is make it very clear for you. You will not have any confusion. Even when you are solving a problem, the best way of writing the quote is in this way. USD 1.5505 per GBP. Clear? Can we proceed? Now let's try to split the second form. Second, they have asked USD per rupee and rupee per USD. Both have been asked in the question. Let's first start the process of splitting. USD per rupee is equal to what is the connecting currency? So how will you split? USD by AUD into AUD by rupees. USD by AUD into AUD by rupees. Do we have USD by AUD? Yes. How much? 0.61? Okay, 6160. 0.6160. Do we have AUD per rupee? No, inverse. 1 divided by 31. It's very simple. If you have, use it. Otherwise, do the inverse. 32.3990. What is the answer? USD 0.01 per INR. Any doubts on this? Whether 4 decimals, 5 decimals, you will understand as you do more problems. They have also asked for the which quote? Rupees per. Now please listen, either you use the formula by splitting or take an inverse of 0.0190. Take an inverse of 0.0190. So 1 divided by that will give you the quote. Any doubts on this? Anybody has any doubts on this? What is the quote? 52.61. Rounding off issues can be there if you do multiplication and get it, because their rounding off part doesn't happen. Here if you do 0.0190, I have done 4 decimals, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you increase, your answer may undergo a change. Okay, any doubts till now? If we understand the third part, things will become very, very clear. If this part is something we can understand. Rupees per Canadian dollar, that's the quote. Now you have to split this quote. Now tell me, how will you split it? 3 quotes are there. Rupees divided by what? OMR, ठीक है, into OMR by AUD, AUD by CAD. This is the quote. Now I'll tell you, if at all some of you found it difficult, how you normally start is, you need not find what connecting currency, anything, don't worry about all of that. The given quote is rupee per CAD. So your first starting point is rupee. Starting point is rupee. Go to the quotes given with rupee, which other currency is there? OMR. So it becomes rupee by OMR. Find which currency is there in the numerator. With rupee, the currency which is involved is OMR. Now I have to cancel OMR. Next stage is cancelling OMR. So into OMR. With OMR, which currency is there? Now I have to cancel AUD. With AUD, which currency is there? That's all. We have come to our formula. AUD by CAD. So start with the numerator currency. Go to the quotes given. Find the quote which is there. Write it in the denominator. Cancel this by writing again in the numerator. Find the connecting. Cancel, connecting, goes on. If this is clear, good part of international finance is over for you. If the quote is available, great. Not available, you will have to do the division part. $135.5, 1 divided by 4.1791 into 1.254. What's the answer? 40.6587. Okay. Rupees 40.66 per Canadian dollar. Rupees 40.66 per Canadian dollar. Clear? Any doubts on this? Done? Now we are going to do it for a two-way quote now. The last one is two-way quote means there is a bid rate and a ask rate. Both are there in the question. It's for rupee, USD, rupee per GBP. That's what is given in the question. More or less the example which we were talking about. In that example, we had a quote. The given quote is 52.50 hyphen what? 52.70, 82.50 hyphen 82.80. Now I'll make it very clear. Unnecessarily, if you keep thinking about multiple rates and try doing a problem, you will confuse yourself and do the wrong stuff. You will have to you will have to logically do the conclusion or take step by step rather than trying to do it in a hurry. This is one chapter which you cannot do in a hurry. If you try to do it in a hurry, you will surely make a mistake. It's not up to you, it's me also. I'll also make a mistake if I try to do this in a hurry. So the question's requirement is USD per GBP. First role is splitting the formula. USD will be my numerator. With USD, which currency is there? Rupees. I have to cancel rupees. Rupees. Now this is easy. They will make rupee per Canadian dollar into Canadian dollar per GBP into it. It will keep on going like this. So they can make it more and more complex if they want to. This is stage 1. Stage 2. Bid. I've just prefixed bid there. I'll later on prefix ask there. First I have done a prefix of bid there. Later on I'll prefix ask. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now write USD per GBP. First you split and then prefix it with bid. USD per GBP is equal to USD per GBP is equal to USD per GBP is equal to USD by rupee into rupee by GBP. Now you will attach a prefix called as bid. Step by step if we go, there will be no confusion. Unnecessarily, if you keep looking at multiple information, I am telling you, people who have learned international finance earlier, or if you talk to others, they will keep telling you this confusion, which I also have at times, whether to multiply, whether to divide, whether to do a 1 by 40 or 40 by 1, all of that confusion is going to come into picture. Whether to use bid rate, whether to use ask rate. Do we have USD per rupee in the question? No. Tell me 1 by ask rupee per USD. 1 by, no wait, we'll write the formula itself. 1 by ask rupee per USD. 1 by ask rupee per USD. Do you have rupee per GBP?
Yes.
Tell me the bid value. 82 point. What is ask?
52.70.
USD 42. Let me know in case there's a doubt here. The crux of international finance is this: getting cross rates. Getting cross rates is going to be the crux of international finance. Though you will keep learning newer and newer aspects, but the crux remains this. 1 point? This is not the answer? Just 1 point, what do you say? 5.6. Any doubts in this? Bid USD per GBP is USD 1.5655 per GBP. Clear? Any doubts in this? Now I'm going to write same formula, but I'll prefix it with ask. That's all. Same formula, will prefix it with ask. Ask USD per GBP is equal to ask USD per INR is not there in the question. You will make it as 1 by bid INR per USD What is INR per GBP ask rate? Bid is 1 divided by 52.50 into 82.80. USD 1. 1.5771. Clear? Any doubts? Done? Now I'll have to combine this and make the quotas. USD per GBP is equal to 1.5655-771. USD 1.5655-771 per GBP. That's the final quote. 1.5655-771 per GBP. Done? Any doubts on this? Clear? We'll move to question 5 now. Following spot rates are available in the London Forex market: Euro, Danish kroner, Japanese yen, USD. Since these currencies were in short supply, you are required to operate only through sterling, which is quoted at 75.25-35 in Mumbai. Compute the amount of euro and DKR that you can buy if you have a sum of rupees 1,20,000. What is the likely rate of yen against US dollar? Bid and ask. Okay, now this I think is an exam problem. Now you'll understand what kind of difficulties an international finance problem can throw up. The given quotes are 1.24-1.40, 9.274-9.356, 147.636-147.650, 1.5606-1.5650. These are in London Forex market. London is which currency? GBP. So all these are either euro per GBP or GBP per euro. I don't know that. That we'll discuss. Similarly, Danish kroner and GBP, Japanese and GBP, USD and GBP. 4 quotes have been given. They have also given a quote which is rupees 75.25-35 per GBP. Only through sterling, which is quoted at. Now, quantum of euro and Danish kroner that you can buy if you have a sum of what? 1,20,000. So what you are having is INR. What you are having is INR. With INR you want to buy some currency. With INR you want to buy some currency. That currency which you want to buy is euro and Danish kroner. These are the two currencies you want to buy, euro and Danish kroner. I don't have a quotation which says euro per rupee or Danish kroner per rupee. So I have to operate through what they are saying. Sterling. You'll have to operate it through sterling. Clear? Any doubts till now? Any doubts till now? Now, my first question. Whether it is euro per GBP or GBP per euro? Whether it is euro per GBP, Danish kroner per GBP, Japanese yen per GBP, USD per GBP, or GBP per USD, GBP per Japanese yen, GBP per Danish kroner? Reason?
Because when we discussed about US, they said they'll say it as 1.2.
Which one? Which one?
When we discussed USD per GBP.
So you talked about euro, no? Now.
Yeah, so similarly that same logic will apply.
Okay. So whatever logic which is talking about, internationally all exchange quotes except for pound will be given in European terms. So European terms means indirect mode for USA. Only one quotation which is GBP. So if you see this as per the general understanding has to be USD per GBP. When I gave American terms and European terms, it has to be USD per GBP. The second part is some understanding of exchange rates will help you in doing this. So today at home, just go through the exchange rates. One US dollar will be at 65 rupees as compared to your GBP. GBP will be something like 80, 85 or 90, 95. So GBP is a costlier currency than US dollar. GBP is a costlier currency than US dollar, which means with £1 you can buy $1.5 or $1.2 or $1.3. So it has to be USD per GBP. The other easier way of understanding is your Japanese yen. Japanese yen is a cheaper currency than India. 1 Indian rupee can give you 3 Japanese yen, 2 Japanese yen. So obviously £1 is going to give you 147 Japanese yen. It cannot be 147 Japanese yen or 1 Japanese yen giving you 147 pounds. That is not possible itself, because your Japanese yen is a cheaper currency than INR itself. In comparison to INR itself, it is cheaper. Clear? Any doubts till now? Any doubts till now? Done. So the first way is interpreting the quote. Now write point number 1. The given quotes are in London Forex market. The given quotes are in London Forex market. Given quotes are in London Forex market. Full stop. Internationally, all exchange rates except pound. Internationally, all exchange rates except pound will be in indirect mode. Will be in indirect mode for USA. Will be in indirect mode for USA. Full stop. However, for pound it will be a direct quote. For pound it will be a direct quote for USA. For pound it will be a direct quote for USA. Direct quote for USA. Full stop. Hence the given quote is USD. Given quote is USD 1.5606 hyphen 1.5650 per GBP. Given quote is USD 1.5606 hyphen 1.5650 per GBP. That goes on like everywhere. Any doubts till now? No. So in India, the spot rate will be rupees 65 per dollar. Spot rate means today's rates. Forward rate you will understand later. Forward rate is a future rate. So in India, if you go to a bank and ask the quote, they'll give you 65, which is direct quote for India. Any doubts till now? Now, what I want to buy? Euro and Danish kroner with how much? Okay, now please listen. This is going to be very critical. How do I get to know how much currency is to be bought? Which currency you have? How much? 1 lakh? Which currency you want to buy first? Okay. Now I'll tell you how to arrive at a formula. Euro is equal to INR into, tell me something which I write here so that INR and INR gets cancelled and I'm left with euro. Euro by INR. Any doubts in this? Euro is equal to INR into euro per INR. Any doubts in this? First stage is splitting the formula. Euro is equal to INR into euro per INR. Euro per INR. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Clear? Now, this problem, this rupee per USD is given, no? Rupee per USD. This 52.50 is the quote, is the applicable quote when the customer buys which currency or when the customer sells which currency. 52.50 for rupee per USD is the quote in which Bank is going to buy USD or sell USD. Bank is going to buy USD and we are going to sell USD. Clear? Any doubts on this? So this denominator currency is there, no, in the formula euro per INR. Euro per INR. If the bank is buying the denominator currency, it's bid rate. If the bank is buying the denominator currency, it is bid rate. If the bank is selling the denominator currency, it is ask rate. Any doubts till now? I'm going step by step. It's very, very critical. If the bank is buying the denominator currency, it is bid rate. If the bank is selling the denominator currency, it is ask rate. What do the customer want to buy? Customer want to buy, let's go by stage. I'll tell you to note down in some time. Customer want to buy euro, bank to sell euro, bank to buy INR. Any doubts on this? Bank to buy INR. I'm again repeating it. Denominator currency. See what the bank wants to do with the denominator currency. Is the bank wanting to buy it or is the bank wanting to sell it? If they want to buy it, they'll use it with bid rate. If the bank want to sell it, they'll use the ask rate. Any doubts on this? Bid rate or the ask rate will depend on the denominator currency and what the bank is doing with the denominator currency. Any doubts? Now, INR is a currency which in this question, customer wants to buy euro. If customer wants to buy euro, bank wants to sell euro. If bank wants to sell euro, bank wants to buy INR. Bank will buy INR at what rate? Bank will buy INR at what rate? No. I don't want the rate. Bid rate or ask rate. There is no 70 and all. Bank will buy at what rate? Bid rate. Clear? Any doubts on this? See, I am not coming to the quotation. If you get this, the problem is over. If you get this formula, the problem is almost over. The issues which you are going to face is, I'll repeat this again in some time. The issues which you are going to face is whether to use bid rate or ask rate, whether to multiply or divide. So that's why I'm taking you stage by stage. I'll repeat all of this now again. Please listen. The two currencies involved are what? INR and euro. Now in INR and euro, there will be one thing called as known component, another thing called as unknown component. You will know something, you don't know something. What I know is 1,20,000 rupees. What I don't know is how much euro. What I don't know is how much euro. So what we normally do is we write it like this. Unknown component. Why unknown component? Because I'm trying to find that is equal to known component into something. That into something I don't know. That into something is what we are trying to devise it. It's known component into something. What is unknown component? Euro. Known is INR into. What do you want me to write? Euro by INR. Is the bank buying INR or selling INR? My question is that. Bank is buying INR because I am selling INR. I'm going to give INR. See, basic thing is the bank going to have inflow of the currency or an outflow of that currency? So bank is buying INR. Bank will buy at what rate? Bid rate. Wait, it is not that simple. So I'll have to now do the extension part. Bid. Now wait for some time. INR into bid. What is the connecting currency for euro in this question? Which one? So euro per GBP. Wait for some time. Listen this. If you have understood this, all problems will become clearer. I want you to understand this. Rather, a lot of times the focus is noting down the solution. I don't want you to write down the solution. I'll give you time for that. Euro per GBP into bid GBP per which currency? GBP per INR. Basically, I'm splitting the euro per INR formula now. I'm just splitting the euro per INR formula as euro per GBP into GBP per INR. I have not done anything new. This is what you did in the last question. Last question I didn't have any value. You said USD per GBP is USD by rupee into rupee by GBP. You have told me this. The only difference is last problem didn't have any value. You didn't get any confusion. Now the stages of confusion are going to start. So that is where I am telling you go step by step. So the step by step analysis is euro is what I want to buy. I am first noting down the formula, which is INR into euro per INR. INR into euro per INR. Any doubts on that? INR into euro per INR. Now we are splitting the euro per INR as euro per GBP into GBP per INR. In case you are having a confusion, what you do is first do all the split of the formula, then see whether bid or ask rate. Then finally apply bid or ask rate. Whether you want to do bid rate or ask rate, finally write it down. Any doubts till now? Now the problem is almost over. If you have got till this stage, 1,20,000. Do you have euro per GBP in the question? Euro per GBP, tell me the value. Bid rate 1.24. Do you have GBP per INR? No, 1 by ask. 75 point. 75 point. And you got to the answer, that's all. 1 divided by 75. It's normal math, but with its own stages of confusion, multiplication, division, because people will have a confusion whether to multiply with 75.35 or divide by 75.35, whether to use 75.25 or whether to use 75.35, whether to use 1.24 or 1.40. All this confusion will keep coming in the problem. I'll repeat once more and then I'll tell you to note it down. Now please listen. What you do is you first find out the two currencies which are linked. There will be one thing called as known currency, the second thing called as unknown currency. In this question, what is a known currency? Please participate. 1,20,000 INR. Unknown currency is question mark euros. Unknown currency is question mark euros. Clear? Any doubts on this? So the formula is known component is unknown component is equal to known component into something. Unknown component is equal to known component into something. So we have split the formula now as euro is equal to INR into euro per INR. INR got cancelled. That's how you got the first stage of the formula. The second stage of the formula is what are you doing with the denominator currency? Is the bank buying it or is the bank selling it? Is the bank buying with the denominator currency or bank is selling the denominator currency? In this case, bank is going to buy INR from you. So we have used bid rate. If bank was to sell, we would have used ask rate. Now euro per INR, I have split as euro per GBP and GBP per INR. Took the value and noted down. Any doubts on this? Do this now. Let me know in case you still have a doubt, because this is one very critical area. You will keep getting your confusion. I perfectly agree on that. There will be a lot of confusion which will get created. So if you have a doubt, let me know. No, so rupee per GB. Where did we use currency itself? I didn't ask, bank buying, bank selling in the last problem. No, previous to this, we were just telling what currency the bank will buy, what currency the bank will sell. I did not even comment on any quote. In a bid rate, so any quote, bank will buy one currency, bank will sell another currency.
Yeah, in this, the third part of the question is the currency being bought by bank.
Correct.
In case of bid rate and ask rate.
Correct. Bank will sell GBP and buy INR, correct?
Yeah. So ask rate, like when it's given as a direct quote, like rupee.
Don't bring direct quote. You will get your confusion. Your first stage of confusion will come with direct quote. So ignore that. What I understand is only this. GBP is the denominator currency. GBP is the denominator currency. In case of a bid rate, the bank buys the denominator currency. In case of a ask rate, the bank sells the denominator currency. Bid rate, bank buys the denominator currency. Ask rate, bank sells the denominator currency. Clear on this? Bid rate, bank buys the denominator currency. Ask rate, bank sells the denominator currency. So my question was, what is the bank doing with the denominator currency? If the bank is buying the denominator currency, it is bid rate. If the bank is selling the denominator currency, it is ask rate. Now you want to interpret it as direct, indirect, you will get to the same understanding only. You can think about it and do it, but it will only be through stages of confusion. Yeah. Same thing. So you can do it in multiple ways. So whatever ways is comfortable to a person. So we'll keep having this interchanges which will keep happening. We'll have to keep taking a inverse of the values.
Sir, but we have not taken DKR into consideration.
DKR is a next problem. Separate problem. Buying euro, buying DKR. You cannot buy two currencies with 1,20,000. No. Those are separate scenario.
Sir, some amount will be euro, some amount.
Then I have to make it as 60,000. So the basic requirement could be is the quantum of euro and DKR. If you have a sum of 1,20,000, the understanding is 1,20,000 how much euro with 1,20,000 how much DKR. If that's not the understanding, then 60,000 euro, 60,000 DKR. Doesn't make any difference. What is the value? 1974.78 euros. Attach euros, INR. That is very, very critical to the answer. Yeah. Correct. So I have linked it here. So what practically I'll do is I'll take 1,20,000. With 1,20,000 I'll buy GBP first. With 1,20,000 I'll buy GBP first. With GBP I'll buy euros. If you do it in that process, you will get 1974.78 euros. With 1,20,000, if I have to go stage by stage, it will become too much of calculation. That's why I didn't go by stage. So in the first stage, it will be like this. GBP is equal to INR into GBP per INR. You will then decide whether you are buying, selling, bid, ask, all that will come into picture. With 1,20,000, you will finally get something like 2,000 pounds or 3,000 pounds. Some number you will get 1,500 pounds. After getting that 1,500 pounds, then you will say euro is equal to GBP into euro per GBP. Then you will convert into euros. What I have done is I have combined both in the math, in the formula. We have ended up combining both. You have understood clear, or still you want a detailed calculation? With a detailed calculation also we'll get the same answer. Clear? Now should I do the calculation? Check it. Now let's do the Danish kroner part. Now the second part of the question is asking quantum of euro that you can buy if you have a sum of 1,20,000. We have done quantum of DKR. Now write known component. Known is what? INR 1,20,000. Unknown. Question mark DKR. Question mark DKR. DKR equal to INR DKR. Okay, let this be stage 1. Stage 2 I'll write it in the next stage, otherwise it was confusing last problem. What is the bank doing with the denominator currency? Bank buying, selling? Bank is buying. Bid. Extend the formula of DKR by INR, get to the answer. One lakh 20,000 into bid. What is the extension? DKR by GBP into bid GBP. Do we have DKR per GBP? How much? 9.274. GBP per INR? 1 by 75 point. $14,048. Sorry, not per DKR. That's DKR. That's not per DKR. $4.8, no? Now, we'll test this understanding with a lot of rework now. If you do all the rework properly, your understanding will be fine. So, any doubts till now? I'll not come to the part 2 still now. Let me do the rework. Now, my question is, how much to be paid to buy? How much to be paid? How much INR to be paid? How much INR to be paid to buy $1,000? How much INR to be paid to buy $1,000? This is one question. You can note down how much INR to be paid to buy $1,000. How much INR to be paid to buy $1,000? I want to buy dollars now and I want to know how much INR is to be paid. How much INR to be paid to buy $1,000? Known component. Known is $1,000. Unknown. Question mark INR. Unknown is question mark INR. You don't know how much INR is there. Some question could have said how much INR to be paid. I told it could be how much pounds to be paid, how much DKR to be paid, how much JPY to be paid. It can be anything. So the known is $1,000, unknown is INR. INR is equal to USD into any doubts on this? Stage 1. INR equal to USD into INR per USD. In stage 1, you arrive at a formula. Second stage. Any doubts till now? What are we doing with the denominator currency? What are we? Are we means customer. What is the customer doing? Bank is selling it. Bank will sell it. Bank will sell it. I want your participation. This is very critical. I'll spend 30-40 minutes only on this because I want this to be very, very clear. Otherwise, you will keep struggling in the other areas. So, ask rate or bid rate? Ask rate. Now write USD. Ask INR per USD. Ask INR per USD. Start splitting the formula. The confusions will start if you start looking at multiple unnecessary information. Again, one important thing, when you solve a problem, don't bring direct, indirect into picture and all. That will unnecessarily complicate stuff. After getting the formula, see whether you have INR per GBP. If you have, use it. If you don't have it, use 1 by bit. That's all. Don't try to confuse yourself by asking whether it's a direct quote, whether it's an indirect quote. All of that is source of confusion. Initially, I asked you to find out the quote. The moment the quote is found out, the basic thing is, if you have already found out it's euro per GBP or GBP per euro, that stage is done. Don't bring to your mind whether it's a direct quote, indirect quote. Now, after doing this, at this stage, I'll write like this: 1000. Do we have INR per GBP in the question? Yes, 75.35. No, 1 divided by something. That's all. Yes, take it as it is. No, 1 divided by something. Do we have GBP per USD? No, 1 by bit. 1 by. I'll repeat it. Whenever I do problems, I never ask you whether it's a direct or indirect quote unless I have to identify the quote. At that stage alone, maybe this direct, indirect comes into picture. In problem solving, This understanding of direct and indirect will be a source of confusion for you. You will confuse yourself by thinking whether it is direct, indirect, all of that is not needed. It's very simple. I first split the formula USD into INR per USD. Next question I asked you, what are you doing with the denominator currency? You told me something. What is the bank doing opposite of it? We wrote ask. Split the formula. Do we have INR per GBP? Yes, right as it is. Do we have GBP per USD? No, use the inverse of it. That's all. The problem is very simple unless you try to complicate stuff. So look at only the relevant information. If you try to look at multiple information, it will keep confusing you. It will be only source of extra confusion here. What's the answer? How much INR? 48 to 82.71 INR. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Next, how much Danish kroner can be bought? How much Danish kroner can be bought with $1 lakh? How much Danish kroner can be bought with 1 lakh USD? How much Danish kroner can be bought with 1 lakh USD? How much Danish kroner can be bought with 1 lakh USD? Go stage by stage, you will get to the answer. Complicate stuff, it will become difficult. How much Danish kroner can be bought with 1 lakh USD? What was the question? How much Danish kroner can be bought with? What are you going to do with USD? What are you sell? We are selling it. Bank is going to buy it. I have $1 lakh with me. I'm going to sell it and bank is going to buy it. So the question is always like this: what are you doing and what the bank is doing? So you have dollars, you're going to sell the dollars, bank is going to buy the dollars. So that's all. It's a very simple calculation. If you have understood this part, it becomes very, very simple. And all my analysis, major chunk of calculation will focus on this. Major chunk of calculation will continue to focus on this aspect. Divide, multiplication, bid, ask. These are the 4 stages of confusion, whether to divide, multiply, whether to use bid, whether to use ask. What is the bid DKR per GBP? Do we have DKR per GBP? First question. Yes. How much? 2.7. Do we have GBP per USD? No. 1 by ask. 1 divided by 5. That's all. Problem is over. This is what it is all about. All this will come for 5 marks. These type of calculations will come for 5 marks. Any doubts in this? Done? Any doubts on this? Now write how much INR can be bought? How much INR can be bought? How much INR can be bought with 2 lakh Japanese yen? Any doubts on the earlier one? I've not written the final answer, that is okay, in a multiplication stage. Any doubts till now? Because this area I may go a little slow initially, because later on all the advanced areas I cannot go at this pace. So if you have doubt, let me know now itself. This basics will be very, very critical. Now, how much INR can be bought with 2 lakh Japanese yen? I have 2 lakhs Japanese yen. Tell me how much INR can I buy with that? How much INR can be bought with 2 lakhs Japanese yen? Denominator currency, what are you doing? What is the bank doing in your formula?
In the first one, sir, yeah.
First formula, when you split the formula. What is the split you have created?
N into INR rate.
N into?
INR rate.
INR is equal to?
N into INR.
So what are you doing with N? Are you buying N or selling N?
I'm selling it.
Bank is buying N then. If you are selling N, I'm not sure whatever you're doing. If you're selling N, bank is buying N, bid rate will be relevant. What are you doing with the denominator currency? What is the bank doing with the denominator currency? What was the question? How much? 2 lakh Japanese. Known is 2 lakhs Japanese yen. Unknown is question mark INR. INR equal to JPY into INR per JPY I am going to buy, sorry, I am going to sell Japanese yen. Bank is going to buy Japanese yen. Bank is going to buy at bid rate. INR per GBP bid rate is 75.25. GBP per JPY available 1 by ask, 1 divided by 147.65. That's all you get to your answer. It's extremely simple if you understand how you go stage by stage. Otherwise, it will become extremely complicated. It will become complicated if you try to hurry up. I would want you not to hurry up, at least in this chapter. If you try to go at a faster pace, you will make a mistake. That's how it is, unless you practice so many problems. If you practice more and more problems, maybe some kind of comfort can come in. Otherwise, this area you cannot move at a faster pace. What is the answer? INR 1 lakh 930 point. Any doubts on this? The question was how much JPY is needed, sorry, how much INR can be bought with 2 lakhs JP. Okay, how much INR is needed? How much INR is needed to buy 2 lakhs Japanese yen? How much INR is needed to buy 2 lakhs JPY? How much INR is needed to buy 2 lakhs JPY? May look like similar, but think about it and do. How much INR is needed to buy 2 lakhs JPY? Last one was how much INR can be bought with 2 lakh JPY. Yeah. How much INR is needed to buy 2 lakhs JPY? How much INR is needed to buy 2 lakhs JPY? Okay, any of you from SFM old syllabus? 1, 2. Okay. For SFM old syllabus, I'll have extra classes, so I'll maybe in the next class announce when we can have classes on that. What are we doing with JPY? We are buying. Bank selling. Bank will sell at ask rate. So into ask INR per JPY. Into ask INR per JPY. That's the only difference between the last problem and this problem. Here I want to buy JPY. Last time I wanted to sell JPY. So if I am buying, bank is selling. 2 lakhs into ask INR per GBP into GBP per INR per GBP ask rate. GBP per JPY not available. 1 by bid. 63. What's the answer? 1 lakh 2000. Okay, 102075. Now that when I am buying, I have to pay 102, but when I am selling, I get only 101. The difference is banker's profit. The difference is banker's profit. Whatever is the difference you see there, that is basically the profit which the banker is making out of the transaction. It's not that if I am buying JPY, I am paying this much. When I sell JPY, I'll get the same amount. No, that's not going to happen. So that is the difference between the earlier problem and this problem. Any doubts on this? Now I'm summarizing it. What you do is you find out what is a known component, what is an unknown component. After finding out, the formula is unknown component is equal to known component into something. You will have to split and get the formula. After getting the formula, you say what are you doing with the denominator currency, what is the bank doing with the denominator currency, and by that process you get a formula called as either a bid rate or a ask rate. If you have it, directly use it, otherwise keep spreading the formula. 2 segments, 3 segments, 4 segments, 5 segments, 6 segments. It doesn't matter even if it goes through 7 segments. The analysis doesn't anyway undergo a change. It is just that you'll have to do more and more calculation. The issue which happens is you will keep thinking at every stage whether I want to use bid rate, ask rate, whether I want to divide, multiply, then you're confusing yourself. Be very clear. After splitting the formula, you should never think, that's all. If you have arrived at this formula, your thinking should stop. You should not think anything. Do you have INR per GBP? Yes, write it. No, use 1 by bit. Do you have GBP per JPY? Yes, use it. No, 1 by bit JPY by GBP. That's all. If you have it, use it. If you don't have it, convert the formula. That's the calculation. Any doubts on this? Now, let's go to the second part. What is the likely rate of yen against US dollar? Likely rate of yen against US dollar. Now, let's first understand what are they asking. Likely rate of, I am converting now, okay, Apple against INR. Somebody comes to you and asking what is the likely rate of Apple against INR. What is the likely rate of Apple? Or he comes and asks what is the likely rate of Apple. You will tell it as rupees 12 per piece of apple. Rupees 12 per piece of apple. This is the rate you will give. Clear? Any doubts on this? So basic requirement is what they are asking is rupee per apple. If they ask what is the likely rate of Apple against INR, what they are asking you to do is rupee per apple. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? So what is required in the question is what is the likely rate of yen against US dollar? Do they need yen per USD or USD per yen? Yen per USD or USD per yen? USD per yen. So initially it may feel that likely rate of yen means yen per USD. That's why I gave you an example. Likely rate of apple against rupee. Likely rate of apple. Apple is a product against rupee. So one piece of apple will cost 12 rupees. So you give a quote called as 12 per apple. Similarly, you have to give a quote called as USD XX per yen. What you need to give is USD XX per N. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on USD XX per N? If that is clear, we start doing it. That's all. Any doubts on USD XX per N? Now you will have to obviously get a bid rate and ask rate. Both have to be done. Now write point number 1. The question wants us to calculate The question wants us to calculate the likely rate of n. The question wants us to calculate the likely rate of n in bracket product. Likely rate of n in bracket product against US dollar. Against US dollar. Full stop. The required quote therefore is, the required quote therefore is USD per yen. USD per yen. Yen is the product. USD per yen. Now listen, what you need to do is, you will have to split the formula USD per whatever it is into, cancel it, bring the denominator somehow n. Moment you bring it, attach bid, you will get the bid rate. Attach ask, you will get the ask rate. Get me the two-way quote. USD per n. Split the formula and then do the attach. What's the connecting currency? I need both, bid, ask, both answers have to be taken. You need to give a two-way quote direct, finally. இது ஒரு அப்படியே எடுத்துருங்க. Do you have USD per GBP? How much? Do we have GBP per yen? 1 by ask. That's all. This will give you one answer, then you get the other answer, and then you give a two-way quote. Clear? I don't have much to explain here. The basic thing is, if you look at more and more information, you will keep getting confused. So you will have to restrict yourself to what is required and then try to analyze the question. Looking at multiple information will create unnecessary confusion in a problem. So be careful about that aspect. Look at what is relevant rather than looking at all the set of information. Clear? I have given certain homeworks in the group. I've already circulated them. So you start solving them. International finance, please revise it once and come so that it's useful, because tomorrow I'll continue with international finance. We'll also go to advanced areas. So we'll continue in tomorrow's class.